Hey there, Jags. My name is Dylan Patterson. I'm the Sustainable Landscapes Intern with the Sustainability Office here at IUPUI. Thanks for checking out this video in our Arbor Day celebration series. In this video, we're going to be showing you a tree planting demonstration with Jesse Beck, our Grounds Manager, and Hillary Cox from Keep Indianapolis Beautiful.
Hi, my name is Jesse Beck. I'm the Grounds Program Manager with Campus Facility Services here at IUPUI. My role on campus, I oversee all the contracted exterior maintenance for the campus grounds, parking facilities, then take care of all of the infrastructure, kind of repairs around campus, wildlife duties, and kind of all the little things you see around, such as like the flowers and whatnot.
Alright, so my name is Hillary Cox. I'm a community arborist with Keep Indianapolis Beautiful. As you can see, I've got lots of additional PPE or personal protective equipment on because of the current coronavirus going on. We're using extra precautions. We're keeping a 6-foot distance. We're wearing extra masks so we're not breathing on each other. We've got gloves so we're using our own tools and we're not sharing tools. Things aren't being traded that way. I'm going to keep all of my stuff off so you can actually hear and see me. Give you a little bit of background. I work for Keep Indianapolis Beautiful. I'm on the community forestry team. I'm a community arborist. I'm also a certified arborist through the ISA. I've been with Keep Indianapolis Beautiful for 2 seasons now, this being my second. I started in the fall, so I do plantings, I lead plantings, I help with the maintenance side, pruning and watering the trees. We have a youth tree team program that one of my co-workers, Libby, runs, and that is a high school, college-age kids that go and they water the trees that we plant all over the city. And yeah, so that's the Keep Indianapolis Beautiful program. I, again, am on the tree planting side, so I lead plantings. I help organize with community partners where they want trees. People apply for trees and get them. So if anyone is interested in having trees in their neighborhood, or you know a park or neighborhood that is in need of trees, go on our website. We have a rolling application, so we're always checking it to see where people might be interested in having trees.
Hi, so with planting a tree, one of the first things you want to do at your home or wherever you may be is call Indiana 811. It's a free service for homeowners. What they do is they come out and locate underground utilities so you don't have to worry about hitting a gas line or your water line while you're doing projects that involve digging. So you can see we've marked the ground where we wanted, flagged it, and there are no utilities in our area here where we're at. So we are good to go ahead and dig and plant our tree. So another important thing when planting a new tree, or any tree in general, is you want to make sure there are no branches that kind of cross over each other, like these two were going against. Reason for that is as these grow, they'll rub against each other and they'll get a place where disease or insects can enter the tree and cause harm. So you always want to look for anything like that before you get your tree in the ground, because it's easier when it's laying over. Another thing you want for is making a central leader. So the central leader is one branch that kind of goes taller than them all. It kind of leads the tree during its growth. Sometimes you get situations where you have kind of competing, so you want to make a cut to get rid of that. When pruning, you can see there's the branch collar tissue here. It looks kind of like a scrunched up face, you might say. And you want to cut just outside of that, because that tissue there will eventually seal that wound.
Take my mask down so people can hear me. So typically when trees come in from nurseries, they come in bags or buckets or something non-nature-esque. That's just for easy transport. And when that happens, they put lots and lots of dirt right up here on the trunk of the tree. And oftentimes you'll see people just drop them straight in the ground. That's terrible for the tree. All of the soil right around the trunk can choke it out. So what we're gonna do before we even start digging our hole or making space, we're gonna be as close to the hole and the space that we want. That way we're not pulling dirt from all over the world into this spot. And we're gonna just start digging around looking for what's called the main order root. The main order root needs to be exposed to oxygen, which is kind of confusing. A lot of people think that it should be in the dirt, and that's where it belongs, but it really needs oxygen in order to grow, and it also helps the tree, as it's growing, establish taper, which is essentially just structure for the tree so it's not blowing in the wind. So the main order root's going to be about as big as your thumb or your index finger, and it's going to be right up on the trunk, and it's going to be coming out at a little bit of an angle. I like to, with root balls like this, really just use my hands. You can use a soil knife if you want and kind of scrape it. When you use something metal, you need to be extremely careful around the trunk of the tree. So we're coming up here on the main order root. You can see it's, you can see we went down, fortunately my soil knife has, these are measurements, you can see how deep we're going. So we dug out pretty deep right here. This is our main order root. It's coming out at an angle, it's a flare. We want the top of that to be above ground when we plant the tree. So anyway, we found our main order root. We are going to aim to plant the tree at this grade right here so that the main order root is getting its oxygen, it can breathe, it can live, it can be happy.
So now that Hillary has our root work done, what we want to do is move our tree to its final location. What you want to do is take up the grass or the sod around the tree. We want to go about a foot length out, go in up at an angle. We want to remove the top layer, as we'll use this later around our tree ball to kind of help keep grass from growing into the tree, into our mulch ring that we'll create here. As you dig and make this, you'll separate your sod into a different pile than your dirt for going back towards your hole.
So again, we're keeping this pile of sod very separate from our dirt pile. We don't want them to get mixed up. It's bad. Keep them separate. We're gonna essentially use these as almost like Lego bricks around the trunk, the full mulch ring as a protection for lawnmowers or weed whackers or angry kids or beavers or anything that might be trying to attack this very sensitive part of the trunk of the tree when the tree is young.
So sometimes you'll find when you're digging in spots, you find lots of rocks, bricks, construction debris. That's all fine. Anything plastic and non-native, feel free to go ahead and take that in the trash. Larger rocks and bricks, a lot of times what we'll do, we'll put these on the outside of our tree ring. The reason we do that, it's another encouragement to keep mowers away. Mower hits this brick, they're messing up their deck, and they'll never do it again. Also, while we're digging our hole, we're a little slow here, we have some rocky soil. As you're digging, you want to make sure that you're digging the sides of your hole straight down. You have a tendency to kind of make a bowl. The problem with that is, as the tree grows, it can kind of rock in there and deflect the roots, so you want to make sure the sides of your hole are straight up and down as you're digging.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna drag this tree a little closer to me and do a little measure trick with the shovel. I'm gonna take the shovel, I'm gonna hold it up to the root ball. And remember, we're aiming to have it planted. We did all that work trying to find the main order root. We want to show it off to the world. So we're gonna measure the shovel where that's at, and we're gonna walk it over here to the hole, and we're gonna see, you can see Jesse put this tool here as a measure. You can see this is where our main order root is, and this is as deep as our hole is. So we're in pretty good shape. That's a good trick to use if this is if the root ball is extremely heavy and you don't want to pick it up and hulk it over there. Another way that you can do that, this is a pretty light one and I'm pretty strong, so I will demonstrate another tactic of just picking it up, dropping it in here, and then again taking one of just the handle part of the tool and using that again as a metric to see where our main order root is in comparison to the top of the grass here. This is called the grade. You're going to hear that a lot. You want to plant the tree at grade. So we're just pretending that this stick is the grade because it's going from grade to grade. So deductive reasoning says that this is where our grade is going to be if we fill it in properly. So we are in pretty good shape as far as depth for the hole. So we can go ahead and leave the tree here. You can see Jesse over here with the shovel. He's breaking up some, again, air pockets. That's our big key word for the day, air. We want as much air in the soil as possible. So he's making little slits in the side around our hole. And again, that's gonna break up some of the compaction. We've got all this rock, all of this brick, all of this clay. That's very compact soil. And the roots, they like a little bit more air. So he's giving them a little bit of an upper hand in that. Just all the way around, little slices. Some people will also, they like to make those slices in the hole. That's okay to do too if you have a pickaxe or a tool, or again, like a soil knife or something. If you just want to like stab into the side there to create air pockets, you can definitely do that.
Do a little dance in the hole.
Love.
So see, Dylan's now doing what we call the tree dance. As you dig your hole, you loosen the soil on the bottom. Well, we want the soil on the side of the hole to be nice and loose so the roots can grow out. We want to compact the bottom of the hole so as the tree sits there, it doesn't settle and suddenly grow below grade, which Hillary talked about. We spend all that time on the main order root to make sure that doesn't happen.
All right, so we want this tree to be as straight as we possibly can have it, just the trunk. So I'm gonna stand here as straight as I can, and I'm gonna look at the people around me, and they're gonna tell me from their angles, which are different from my angles, how straight the tree looks to them.
If anything, you go that way.
This way a little bit, he says. So I'm pulling it a little bit and I'm holding it. Jesse's putting a little soil in there as a little buffer to help keep it in that place. I'm gonna step on that soil, compact it just enough to keep it packed in there, and then I'm gonna let go. And again, we're gonna look at it from a couple different angles. It's okay to take a lot of steps back. This is the time that you make it look like you're doing a lot. You're really just resting and catching your breath. So really circle it, check it out, look at it. I like to sometimes put my arm up and go like this. You can use a tool and as a metric also. But, so what we're going to do now is start to push some of this soil back into the hole. And as Jesse's doing that, as long as you guys have clear communication with your teammates and you're being safe and cautious, and again have closed-toed shoes on, it's okay to get in there and step down some of the soil, because again, we don't want to carry all of this soil back with us. We're not that strong. We don't want to. So we want to push it down as much as we can. That way we can get as much in there as possible.
I got that plastic out of there, Jesse.
Huh?
That little plastic lid that fell down.
Oh. So one key while you're raking the dirt back in, you have really good grass, putting the tines down, you'll pull out your grass and to get frustrated. Put tines up, you can kind of work the soil out of the grass. It makes it a lot easier to move all your dirt back to your hole. We're going to go ahead and cover up that root we look so hard to expose. You know, it doesn't really matter while you're just moving the dirt back to the hole. Once we're done with this step, we'll be sure to expose that root again. And another method to do that, if you don't have a rake, what Hillary's doing we call cat pulling. So just using your fingers to dig at it to get the dirt back out of the grass. So you want to do this because the dirt stuck in the grass like that will eventually kill it. And we want enough soil back here so we can make a little donut to help protect from the mowers and direct rainwater back towards our tree. So now that we have all our soil back around there, Hillary and Dylan are going to go ahead and re-expose that main order of roots. So we're just going to pull back out of the excess dirt back to the edge of the root ball.
Again, we're tracking down that main order root, which is right here. It's a lot easier to do with that loose soil, so that's why it's okay to just toss it up there temporarily for a little bit.
So farther back, Dylan. I'll make it wide and...
So I like to use my hand as a metric because it's easy and it's always the same. Want to have a flat area about a hand's width. If your foot is down there, you can use, your foot. But we just want to have as much of this dirt, earth, soil, fertilizer away from the trunk as we can.
Can you do that with your hands again? And explain,
Yes.
how you use your hand?
Yeah. So I like to use my hand as a metric for how much space I want between what is going to be, I think I used the Lego wall earlier as a circle. Jesse referred to it as a donut. It's all protection from mowers, from the world. So I like to use my hand to kind of figure out how much space. You can also use your foot, kind of step around it a little bit, just that way you've got a decent amount of space. Also, when people come by to water these trees, when it naturally rains, this creates a nice little natural bucket and for the water to pool in. If you can remember back when we were doing all the root work, all of these fibrous roots, I said that these are what's catching all of the nutrients for the tree. They eventually get bigger and then they change functions to be sturdy and creating more structure for the tree. So these are going to be in the top 6 feet of the soil. And they're all going to be pretty close to the trunk when the tree is so small like this. So this is generally speaking, for the first few years of this tree's life, right here is going to be where a lot of the roots are and where they're trying to grow or they're trying to spread out. I know we did all this work to create this huge hole, but it's going to take a while for some of those roots to get all the way out here. So creating this little pocket, this little bowl, this little foundation essentially for water to sit and slowly trickle down into the soil. Again, hitting these fibrous roots is going to be very beneficial for the tree. All right, so we have this huge pile of sod here. Remember, we kept it very separate from our dirt. All of our dirt is back on our tree. We don't need to worry about it. What we're going to do with this sod, sometimes it's going to be in big chunks, sometimes it's not. Again, I've got this soil knife. I'm going to use it to slice up little teeny tiny bricks, if you will, and I'm going to throw them at Jesse, and he's going to start to build a wall. Again, this wall is going to protect from mowers, from kids, from all kinds of stuff. So you can see he's putting it down with the green side down, which is opposite of everything else that's around us. The reason he's doing that is because we want this grass to die. So we're gonna flip it down so it doesn't get any sunlight. So over here, it's opposite. Eventually it'll die, and we're gonna put the mulch over this so it'll protect it even more from not getting any sun and eventually dying and being very beneficial to the tree. Also, it's gonna break down, there's a lot of nitrogen and other nutrients in the grass, and that will break down into the soil and help that also. So again, this is just a little Lego wall brick. It's also going to help with the pooling of water that I was talking about before. It's creating a nice little platform in here for the water to sit, because it's not going to flood out over into the grass where it wants to go. So a lot of times you'll see landscapers, they'll come and they'll just throw this mulch right on top, and then 3 or 4 guys will come by and then they'll say, oh, that's good, it's good, we're all done, right? And then they move on to the next tree. Well, we did all that work at the beginning to get that main order root, so we don't want that. What we just saw with the mulch going all the way up here is oftentimes referred to as volcano mulching.
Vacuum carbon.
And that's bad. Some people say volcano no bueno. Whatever it takes for you to remember it is great. So we're gonna, remember we made that pattern with the sod and the dirt and everything, all of the work that we did. We're gonna touch it off with a little bit of mulch so it looks a lot more uniform, it looks a lot more natural, and just on top of all of the work that we did.
So now that we have this planted right, new trees for the first 3 years established need about 15 gallons of water a week. So this area has irrigation, which will help with that rainfall. But at your home, you need to make sure, especially the heat of summer, if you're not having rain, that you're taking water out to the tree once a week at a minimum.
I'm smiling, but you can't tell.
All right.
Hey there, Jags. Thanks for checking out this video in our Arbor Day celebration series. Make sure to follow the Sustainability Office on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at IUPUI Sustain. You'll be able to see some webinars, all of our Earth Month videos, social media takeovers, as well as some sustainability tips and tricks.